Yo, Thought Warriors, what is up?
With all my heart, I love you. I'm supposed to be the toughest strong when you done carried me so many
it's
nights.
Rachel Lindsay. Don't start the people off with this.
I love you.
Watch him hit this
Through the
note.
fire.
He said that?
Yeah,
That was it.
That was Jonathan Majors. That was Jonathan Majors at the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards. Shout out to Jason Lee. Shout out to Jonathan Majors. Shout out to Megan Good. It's time for Jonathan to get back on the horse, man. We talked about it here on Higher Learning. A lot of people clowning that. Do you think it was sincere?
I'm not going to question. I'm going to have to say yes.
Yeah, it looks sincere
I'm
to
not
me.
going to question his sincerity. I mean, like, the man is, there's no denying he's been through a lot. And this has gone on for what? Well, definitely over a year. And she's been by his side. So, you know, who are we to question whether or not that was sincere? It seemed it. I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do what? Everybody is sending this around. There are two things right now.
But first off, this is so old. Why are people acting
Because
like
I think
this
it's
just
just airing right now for the first time on Zeus Network. I'm not sure.
Oh, on Zeus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's talking about this. You know something else everyone's talking about? Tyrese at the Rams game.
I loved it. I loved it.
If y'all didn't see Tyrese at the Rams game, actually play a little bit of Tyrese at the Rams game.
Oh, say, can you see by my walls early night with
The Rams had a preseason game. Tyrese sang the national against the Cowboys. Tyrese sang the national anthem, and he did it in some sort of costume, or he was dressed as.
Well, at first, people didn't know if this was just a new look.
Right.
Until a video came out 2 days later, which showed that that's not what he looked like 2 days ago.
Right. Like, hold on. Let me see if he answers. Hold on real quick. Let's see if Tyrese answers. He might not. I ain't talked to him in a while. I'm sure he got everybody on his line.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Put you to voicemail.
Send me the voicemail. Tyrese now, he's not going for the bullshit right now. I fuck with Reese. Reese is one of the funniest guys in the entire world. And he also...
No problems with him.
He also goes for it, but what was the explanation to this? Is he was doing a Marvin Gaye-esque thing. He had the whole... It looked like he had a wig on his face.
Well, and on his head.
And on his head. He had the wig on his face and on his head.
And people pointed out it was 90 degrees. He was in a long sleeve shirt, a vest, like had a hat on, straight out of the 70s. Very much so, not just a tribute vocally to the Marvin Gaye performance, but also he was in costume.
He was in costume. What's wrong with it?
I'm telling you, I have no problems with this. I think it just took people by surprise.
It's a little odd, but I like that kind of... Remember back in the day, Jim Carrey came to the MTV Movie Awards and he was dressed up as this hippie type of guy, whatever.
Yeah.
If Tyrese doesn't do this, then it's another national anthem situation. He was killing the national anthem.
He brought something new to the national
It's just
anthem.
funny.
I was like, I'm amused. I paid attention to it. Hey, it got people talking.
Who is our best uncle right now in the culture? Who is our most entertaining uncle? Tyrese is an incredibly entertaining uncle. Of all the uncles that are out there that we have in the culture right now,
There's somebody better than Tyrese.
who is the most entertaining uncle? You got Tyrese, you got Cat Williams.
For sure.
Is one of the most entertaining uncles. Of all the uncles out there that really make us, Ray J's up there.
No.
Not Ray J, okay. You're not fucking with Ray J. Think about it. Let's think about this for the entire podcast. Who's the most entertaining uncle? Because at this point, Tyrese is in this situation to where he's the uncle at the family function that's always on some new shit when you see him.
Yeah.
When you see him, you know it's going to be some new shit that he on. Hey, Neff, come over here, Neff. Let me tell you something. You ain't never seen nothing like this. Look at the Uncle God. This not a diamond. They call this a zircon. You ever seen one of these? Ha ha. It's like it's like a diamond. It's like a diamond, but it looked like a diamond, but it's like 1/5 fourth the price. Like, but look, that motherfucker shining though. Look at your unk. I got zircon here. I got zircon here. I got zircon on the bracelet. What you got right there? Let me hold $20. That's the kind of uncles that you see at the thing, and you know they're going to be a lot of fun. That actually happened, by the way.
You know who I think? It sounds like a very personal story. You were doing it too
happened. One of my uncles, he was so proud of his zircon. He came over here. It's a zircon.
You know what I'm going to say?
Who?
Deion Sanders.
Hell no.
Yes. There's always something going on with him.
It's not Deion.
There's always something going on with him. I mean, the press conference, we didn't talk about it. We thought about talking about it. The press conference where he refused to talk to the CBS reporter because of a local CBS reporter because of a national story that CBS News did. He's hilarious to me. And he's always on something new. His looks a little different right now. He's always entertaining when he talks to the media, when he talks to his teammates. He's a showman.
The only reason why I say it's not Deion is because...
And he's funny.
Deion is not more like a father figure, not an uncle figure. Deion got a lot on the line.
He's moving into uncle. Sorry.
Deion is to be taken seriously. When I say uncles, I mean people that's doing stuff that... The thing about your uncles, and I'm not saying we shouldn't take any of these brothers seriously because they all have serious, great careers. They've achieved a lot of things. But I'm saying someone that you could just have fun with. That you could really just, that's always about, that's not Deion, man. Deion is begging to be taken seriously. It's a serious thing. It's the whole nine. I feel what you're saying, because Deion is a lightning rod for conversation. But on this uncle shit, I'm trying to think, man. Tyrese, good uncle. Charleston White?
No, come on, no.
Too toxic?
Too toxic.
But some of the uncles be toxic sometimes.
You like Charleston White?
I don't like Charleston White, but Charleston White is funny. I'm sorry. Like,
what's the other guy's name? You might as well throw him in there too.
Who?
What's the other black guy who's just like off the rails like that?
What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Other black guy. Charleston White has said some reprehensible, terrible things, and I want to let y'all know, but you can't say that the nigga not funny. He funny. He funny. Umar.
That might be.
So these are the best uncles.
People take him seriously.
People take Umar seriously too, but Umar is if these are the uncles of the culture right now that we talking about, we got some great we got some Umar's, all of these brothers ought to be taken seriously, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, they do funny shit.
Jesse Lee Peterson is who I was thinking about.
Jesse Lee Peterson, fuck no, man. Like, okay, Jesse Lee funny too, though. Wait a minute. Jesse, hold on. So we talked about this before. Is it not okay? I mean, Jesse Lee Peterson obviously said some vile things and represents some really vile, reprehensible thoughts, but sometimes, when I catch myself watching the Jesse Lee Peterson stuff, it's funny.
When something is so outrageous, it can be funny.
Yeah.
It's just like.
So you be watching Jesse Lee Peterson?
You watch him like that?
I watched a lot of it. I watched him debate David Pakman. I watched him talk to DC Youngfly. I watched like a lot of people on there. He talked to Tariq Nasheed. And Jesse Lee Peterson would be like, he calls everyone on the left the children of the lie. It's because the children of the lie are out to get Donald Trump, aka the Great White Hope. Donald Trump is the Great White Hope, and he will lead America into the next phase of greatness, if not for the beta males and the children of the lie. That's how he be talking. It's funny. It's funny to me.
Listen, you ain't got to tell me. I'm the one who's always laughing at Trump.
You laughing at Trump. Your man Trump's in trouble.
I mean, you think it's too early to say that?
It's too early to say that he'll lose. It's not too early to say.
It's not looking good right now.
It's too early to say that he'll lose. The election is very much 50-50, but if you look at a snapshot of the election, which is what polls are, then yeah, he's in trouble right now. Like Nate Silver and by the way, I want to say something real quick. Shout out to everybody who caught me. When I was talking about Nate Silver's forecast, I mentioned 538. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Nate Silver's Silver Bulletin forecast that he does on his own platform now. But on his forecast right now, he has Kamala Harris extending a little bit of a lead in a lot of the swing states. He's predicting her to win a lot of these swing states. The Trump campaign at this point is not responding well to a lot of the pressure that's being put on them by the Democrats. It's impossible for them right now. They feel bad. More pictures of J.D. Vance were just released, and J.D. Vance is in drag. Which I want to make sure that as people are bringing up old things about J.D. Vance, that we're not wading into the waters of homophobia and anti-LGBTQ plus sentiment by pointing out that he spent a lot of time in drag or hanging out in drag or doing whatever. I think people are pointing out the contradiction, and that's okay.
Yeah, the hypocrisy.
That's what people are and that's okay. But at the same time, you don't want to become what you hate. But it seems like right now, the house is on fire for Trump. You don't think that's true?
No, I think it is true. I was looking it up because there was in addition to what you were talking about, there was a Times Siena poll that puts Harris ahead in 3 battleground states. So, I mean, she seems to be trending in the right direction. And then part of the reason I think the Trump campaign doesn't know what to do is because I really don't think they thought Joe Biden would run out of the race. Their entire strategy has been to go against Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And now they have to regroup. Now you've added Tim Walz to the picture. And so it's how do we, other than criticizing looks and gender and, you know what I mean? Taking
Which doesn't seem to be working.
Which what?
Which doesn't seem to be working.
No, it's not. Well, it's old, right? It's to be expected. You know that's where they're going to go. But they can't really hit them yet, or they haven't hit them yet when it comes to their policies. Because, think about it. They try to talk about immigration. Well, Kamala Harris can say, well, there was a bill. And she did. She recently just said that on the campaign trail. If I get in office, I'm going to sign this bill. So, there's, I don't know, what do you think their angle could be? Not that we're here to criticize the Harris-Walz campaign, but I'm trying to think of what would be the strongest thing for them to come after Kamala Harris and Tim Walz about? Inexperience?
Yeah, not
foreign policy?
There are many different things that they could do. I think what they don't want to do, though, I think they'd have to run the race in a more traditional way, and that's they're not good at traditional. It'd have to be straight up nuts and bolts. This is what went on here. This is what went on there. This is what happened here. And they'd have to look at Kamala's policy platform, which, let's be honest, she hasn't been super robust in describing yet. And she's waiting a little bit till she has that together. So I think once they have that, maybe they'll have more ammunition to go on. It's tough, right? The real issue here was that Donald Trump was, to your point, set to run against Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was a very uninspiring candidate for a lot of his base. Just didn't feel like anything. People didn't feel the energy. Part of me believes that had there been a different option that the Democrats went with earlier on, that Donald Trump might not even be the nominee for the Republicans. Because some of the cracks in this messaging and some of the inability to energize people against a candidate that looks more youthful, that looks more fired up, that maybe that would have really shocked the Republican brass or some of the voters over there into choosing someone different. Or maybe Trump would have went about it different for his VP choice. Maybe it would have been Nikki Haley. Maybe the people...
I think he would have for sure.
Maybe the people would have still been as loyal to him because he is their Führer. Maybe the people would have still been as loyal to him as they always have been. Maybe that wouldn't have changed, but maybe he would have gone about his campaign differently.
Yeah.
And it happened in the worst possible way for him. I am not sitting here right now saying it's a shoe-in on November 5th that Donald Trump loses. It's still a toss-up 50-50
and so much could
race.
happen.
So much can happen. But I am saying it does seem as if the only thing they can attack her on is her record. And I don't know if the attacks on her record will be damaging enough to a lot of people that are fired up by her. To the people on the right, it's easy to paint her as a far-left loon. It's easy to paint Walz as a far-left loon. But a lot of that stuff is falling on deaf ears for the people that are in the middle a little bit, at least right
when
now.
I tell you they're grasping at straws, I don't know if you saw this. This was on Jesse Waters' show.
Mm-hmm.
Is that his name? Yeah. He was calling it Twitching Tim.
Twitching Tim?
Did you see this? They're basically insinuating that
he has
he's
Parkinson's
queer.
or something. Oh, that he's queer.
Like this is how bad Fox News and some of the right, conservative right, far right are. They're saying how he responded to his wife when he greeted her on stage.
Yeah, I did see
versus how he responded to Doug Emhoff,
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris's husband. And then they were talking about how he was moving on stage, how excited he was. Like, that's how ridiculous it is right now and how they really have, I mean, if that's what first off, it's just so inappropriate. It's so cruel. It's wrong. It's disgusting that that's what they're reaching for. But also, you literally have nothing if that's what you're trying to present, to try to sway voters or your audience away from the Harris Walz campaign.
Well, that's another reason why I'm saying if we're pointing out the hypocrisy in the drag, that's one thing. But if we're slamming him for having been in drag one time, maybe we don't want to become the people that do stuff like that. I've seen that go around a lot, but I get it. Speaking about, we'll get to the Olympics, but speaking of Donald Trump, Amber Rose is mad at me. Did you see this?
I did.
You liked it?
Well, I almost posted it.
You should have posted it.
I was gonna say, Van, what you gonna do about it?
What
you gotta say?
What the fuck is going on?
What you gotta say?
She called out me. She called out Jason Lee.
Oh, I thought she only said you.
No. The whole video is about Jason Lee, essentially.
Yeah, because he posted a picture of her, something like that, right?
I guess Jason's been razzing her a little bit.
He has. No. He has. But apparently, so have you.
No, I didn't. So let's play the last slide from what Amber had to say about me. You got it ready, Ashley?
Right. Oh, and one more thing, like, you're saying that I can't come back to that side, which I heard from Van Lathan and all, like, fuck off. Okay? What side? I'm an American citizen. That's what you fail to realize. I'm never leaving America. I'm patriotic as fuck. I live here. I was born here. I was born in Philadelphia, by the way. You can't get any more America than that. Period. So, at the end of the day, don't compare me to no Stacey Dash.
Leave her alone.
Okay.
Leave her alone.
All right, so listen, this is what I'll say. First of all, I spoke to Amber.
After this, I
called her. Yeah, a long conversation, just like the same one.
How she ended? Fuck off?
No, didn't end it with the fuck off. So, two things. Number one, I meant everything that I said on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I said, okay? Having said that, she's right. She's an American. She can vote for whoever she wants to vote for.
Yes.
If you don't like who Amber Rose is voting for, fuck off. I will say this, though, and I told her this on the phone. I think she's misreading a little bit of the response to her political awakening on the right. All right. I'm not going to be typically long-winded about this, but I'll try to spell out a little bit some of the response that she might be getting. I told her this. Amber Rose is not the only person that is in the hip-hop sphere that is coming out and supporting Donald Trump. DJ Academics is a Trump supporter. Mal from Rory and Mal, very popular podcast. Two guys that I know, Trump supporters, right? Talk about Donald Trump. More people than that. Waka is a Trump supporter. Like there's the. So here's the thing, though, and all of these guys are luminaries in what they do for different reasons, right? And you take them seriously on a myriad things as far as their opinions on hip hop and stuff like that. But people don't really take them seriously in terms of a political opinion. Not really. They're entitled to their political opinion, but I don't think their political opinion necessarily moves the needle. And these gentlemen have been consistent with their support for Trump for a while. Mal has been doing this for a while. Academics has been Uncle Trumping it for a while. So it's kind of not like a shock to a lot of people. They almost represent the archetype of the black male Trump supporter when you think about them. Amber is different. And I'll tell you why. The slut walk and some of her activism in the past aligned itself to what people felt like was a particular politic. And Amber herself was very directly critical of Donald Trump. She called him out by name on Twitter. Now, we had a whole conversation, and what we talked about, I'll keep between us, but she just doesn't feel any of the ways that she felt before, for whatever reason. We talked about the entire litany of things. Almost everything she said, I vehemently disagree with, and it's based in deep, deep misinformation, and to me, just wrong-headed political thinking, but it's her right to feel that way. But back to why people are reacting the way that they're reacting is because a lot of people started to take her seriously in what she was saying and doing, and speaking up for women, and speaking out on behalf of women, and taking up causes that made women and LGBTQ plus people feel safe. There's a certain ethos that goes along with that. And so it's not so much that people have a problem with her political opinion, they feel betrayed, and that is different. If Donald Trump came out right now and said, you know what? I think we should open the border. I think we should open the border, man. I am becoming now, I'm an amnesty Republican in the vein of Reagan or someone like that. People would be like, oh my God. Ann Coulter felt betrayed by Donald Trump because he didn't build the wall, because he wasn't as strong on immigration as she needed him to be. That feeling would be the love that you have for someone turned inside out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you would get. You get the feeling of, not, you just wrong, or you just on Trump's dick or whatever. You get the feeling of not you, which is what a lot of people are getting from Amber, which is, to be honest with you, kind of the way I felt. Oh my God, how did they get to her, right? I used to go and run 5 miles every morning at Echo Park, every Saturday morning at Echo Park, but it was only so I could eat donuts. It's true. On Saturday was my cheat day. This was when I was in the best shape of my life. Saturday was my cheat day. So I would wake up, I'd go to Echo Park like 6 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I would run 5 miles, 5.5 miles around Echo Park. It would be essentially me and the goddamn geese and the Jehovah's Witnesses out there. I would see my Jehovah's Witnesses every time they try to hand me a watchtower. Get off me. But I would run. And then I would go to a place downtown, some of the best donuts in town, called Downtown Donuts. Go to Downtown Donuts to get donuts. And I remember one time, they didn't have no donuts. Downtown Donuts. Let's say, I'm sold out. I don't have any apple fritters. I'm like, what? I based my whole day around this. And they didn't have any apple fritters because of the slut walk. And so I'm dejected. Like, I don't get my donuts. My day is fucked. So I just decided to look at the slut walk.
Okay.
Just to like observe what's going on at the slut walk. And when you looked at it, it was beautiful. It was a mishmash of humanity, men, women, gay, straight, queer, all coming together and linking arms to assert their humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
To talk about the power that they have and that being themselves is powerful. To go from that to literally there being a girl that is 12 or 13 years old in Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, who's being abused by someone who'll get pregnant by her abuser, and be forced to have that baby. To go from that to that in X amount of time is shocking to people. Now, that girl in Texas or in Louisiana or in a handful of other states that will be forced to carry her rapist's baby to term, that is because of Donald Trump. The attacks on democracy that we've seen are because of Donald Trump. And when you scot up with that, people are going to feel away.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing the stakes, what MAGA cost people are going to say, hey, if you're, after everything that it's cost people, if you're choosing to do that now, at this particular moment, where we're trying to get some of those rights back, then please stay with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that then and I meant it then, and I stand on it now because the stakes are just that clear.
Yeah.
Look, everyone is free to vote for whomever they want to vote for. She's right. You don't like who she's voting for? Fuck off. Cool. The way I look at Donald Trump and the whole Trump administration and the whole MAGA movement, I look at that as a fuck you. A fuck you to freedom, a fuck you to bodily autonomy, a fuck you to humility, to humanity, a fuck you to civility, a fuck you to LGBTQ plus people, a fuck you to Black people, a fuck you to so many other people. And this is what my father always said. Always said. And it's one of the tenets I live my life by. If it's fuck me, then it's fuck you. And so
why would it be anything different?
So that's the end of it. Yeah. She's right. She's right. Fuck off if you don't like who she's voting for. However, I told her this. I think people feel betrayed by it. And the betrayal is something that I think a lot of people are going to hold on to. And a lot of people are going to use it to judge her by. And she doesn't have to care about that, but other people will.
But does she understand it? Because to me, the way you if she doesn't even understand that, if you broke it down to her, and I'm sure you did like that, and probably said a lot more, I don't understand why she can't at least say, okay, I don't agree with them. Obviously she doesn't because she's doing what she's doing, but I understand that. And to me, if you really believe in what it is that you're voting for or who you're voting for, if you believe in this person's policies and it's enough for you to completely contradict how you've walked publicly and privately before, I would think that you would say, okay, I understand that. Let me now try to connect with people in a way of explaining why this is the decision that I made, why I did a complete 180, because that's what it is. It's a complete 180. I haven't really seen her, and maybe I haven't followed everything, but I haven't really, other than wearing the paraphernalia, I guess she said it at the convention.
Yeah,
I guess she said it at the convention.
The reality is this.
The reality is this.
We talked a lot about it, but look.
But rather than fighting, I guess, I just finished my thought. Rather than fighting, I guess, against so people, and I know some of it's critical and some of it, they didn't come to her. They don't come to her in the way that you do, right? Like they attack her personally.
Right. Which I think she probably, not to cut you off, I apologize about that, but I think she probably took what I said on the podcast as a personal attack on her, and it wasn't meant to be.
I don't think, I remember talking about it, I don't think it was personal, but I understand her being defensive.
Sure.
And now I just lost my train of thought.
Damn, it's fucked up.
I just lost the train of thought. Well, go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Nah. See, I gotta live with that. I gotta live with making you fucking lose your train of thought. I apologize, man. But look, it all of you guys, because not the only Trump supporter that I know.
Not at all.
Now, like all of you guys are. It's America. It's America. Do your thing. Like, do your thing. But there are, this does feel different to a lot of people. And as long as you're okay with that, and you should be okay with it, you don't have to do what people want you to do. But you spend enough time engendering goodwill with people. People think that you stand for something, and then if it feels like you don't stand for something, she says she still stands for the same things that she did before. She told me that. She just says a lot of the stuff that she was doing before, she thinks it was destructive.
She thinks that well, you're not going to tell me that.
I don't want to get into the details
but
of what we really talked about.
But I just don't understand how she thinks, let's just say, hypothetically, she's speaking about the slut walk. For you to describe it in the way that you did, I just don't understand how you could align yourself with somebody who's completely contradicts that.
Yeah.
That's just me. But,
yeah. Let's take a break. And after we take this break, we'll come back and talk about the Olympics. So the Olympics are over. Rachel?
It always feels like it happens so fast.
For real, it feels like they lasted forever this time.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was like, already?
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a little sad. I've enjoyed our Olympic talk, our Olympic coverage.
But you haven't even watched it.
It's not true. I catch it here and there. You know what I watch? I have to take it back because I think I said something opposite of this. I watched the 10,000 meters, the women.
Mm-hmm.
I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, 26 minutes is around the time that they were running it. But I have to give a shout out to the people who were calling it because as they were analyzing it, they made me more interested in giving the backstory and understanding this person won gold last year, the strategy of running the race. And then it came down, which apparently it doesn't really do that. That's not the normal strategy. It came down to the last 400 meters. It was very good. Very, very good.
A lot of distance stuff when you're wondering at the end whether or not it's mental or physical.
Yeah.
Whether or not you can push through. It's always good. United States and China tied for gold.
You're upset. The United States has more medals, though.
We won medals.
By
That's
far.
fine. We tied 40 golds apiece. Thrilling basketball at the end. Steph Curry. Mwah. Did you watch the men's basketball final?
I didn't get to watch it.
Nigga, what the fuck?
I didn't get to watch it, but I caught up on social media. I read about it. I understand what Steph did in the fourth quarter.
But you had to be there watching it live.
I'm upset I couldn't watch it.
Boy, I tell you what, man.
I'm upset.
I
was traveling.
I love watching Jordan dunk. I love watching LeBron take over. I love watching Shaq dominate. But there is nothing in basketball like watching Steph go on a heater. Nothing. There is nothing in basketball. Man, I love watching all of these guys take over games in the way that they take over games. But there is nothing like when Steph is on a heater, man. And he comes out, boom. He comes out, boom. You're like, is he about to Steph these motherfucking Frenchies?
Wow.
Is he about to Steph these baguettes? Boom, boom, boom. And then when he hit the last shot, it just makes you get out. It makes you emotional.
Did you do this?
Yeah, I didn't do that. It makes you get out of your seat. You're like, oh my God, you're so happy to have that guy at that moment. It was fantastic. And then the ladies went out and got cooked by Gabby Williams, but still were able to pull off the game. They still 67-66. The ladies won. U.S. over France, two finals in a row. It's good stuff.
Random, but serious question. Does the medal count go for each player that gets the medal, or is it just one medal towards the gold medal count?
That's the dumbest question in higher learning history, man. That's the dumbest question. I'm sorry, man. I can't stall you out on that. We got to break that out. That's the dumbest question in the history of this show, man. So what you said is we just get 20 medals, right?
Towards the medal count. Well,
we just get 20 that's like 22. How many people in this? 24 medals.
Well,
that's the dumbest question in higher learning history, man.
We would have won.
We got one. It's one fucking medal. You know who doesn't get medals though?
Who?
The coaches. No medals.
Well, that's not fair.
They don't get them. Coaches don't get medals. So you watch everybody get their medals and you watch Steve Kerr over there like,
that doesn't even make any sense to me.
coaches don't get medals. They don't get medals.
Well,
It's for the athletes. Closing ceremonies. Her performed the U.S. national anthem. Tom Cruise delivered some stunts. You saw Tom Cruise, the cyborg that he is. They handed it over to Los Angeles because we'll have the Olympics in 2028. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Billie Eilish, Snoop Dogg welcomed the games to L.A. And then France said, au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir.
nice.
Going out of France. Overall, your Olympic memories from France.
Well, there were some stories that came out at the last minute that I feel like we should talk about. I mean, let you tell it. I have no memories of the France Olympics, the Paris Olympics, because I didn't watch anything. Not necessarily true.
Yeah.
A couple of things came out at the end. Jordan Childs lost her medal, which apparently I didn't even realize that she originally was 5th. And then there was a challenge to it and then back. I can't even imagine the emotional roller coaster that she went through. That's tough because she got to stand up there and accept her medal and take pictures. Like if I was the person who moved into bronze after, of course I would want my medal. But do you think it feels different if you're the girl?
Fuck that shit. You want that medal.
I'm not saying that you don't, but I'm just saying you didn't get to stand on the podium. On the whatever you want to call it.
It's the podium.
You don't get to stand up there. You're not pictured with the other medalists. It's like, that's how it's always going to be remembered.
So in case you guys don't know, Jordan Childs, she got bronze in the women's floor exercise. Originally, she didn't. Another lady had one. And then her coaches put in a challenge. And after the scores were announced, and then when they took that challenge, which was some challenge to the difficulty of her routine, they decided that she actually did win the medal. So they actually took away the medal from the lady that they had ruled won it at first, gave it to Jordan Childs. Well, after this, they are saying that they got that challenge in too late.
Right.
And since they got that challenge in too late, then the adjustments to Jordan Childs' score do not count. And since they do not count, the other lady, who is a Romanian, I believe, her name is Ana Barbusu, she now gets the bronze medal. So this bronze medal has changed hands 2 times, and some people are crying racism.
Well, the USA Gymnastics submitted evidence that they did do it within that 1 minute. Not once, but twice. So they didn't have the footage apparently before. They have it now. So I don't know if there's some timeliness of them being able to appeal it. But if they do have the footage of submitting the inquiry or filing the inquiry, I don't understand why this is where we are.
Well, look, it's all going to go to some sort of arbitration now. Somebody will figure this out.
But to come down to it, it's like, come down to this.
Yeah.
If the scores were calculated and Jordan really won, she shouldn't lose her medal over 13 seconds.
Well, maybe, but you could make an argument in the inverse that when they score the actual event in real time, that Jordan lost. So all of this stuff now is going to go into what's technically right and what's technically wrong. But I will say this, I don't think any racism has anything to do with it.
No,
I saw our family say that, and I understand how raw the feelings must be, but I don't think any racism has anything to do with it.
I don't think that either, but I hate that this is what it came down to. Because this isn't the only issue where you have people speaking out. You saw Carl Lewis. Carl Lewis is speaking out about the rules regarding the 4x100 because the men have not qualified for a while. Medaled in a while when it comes to the 4x100, the USA team. He's questioning the rules. Now, I couldn't find exactly what rule it was, but we know that the men were disqualified because of the baton pass. I guess it was outside of the area they're supposed to get it done by. And he's challenging the rules and saying that until it's done, we shouldn't even participate. He's like, the rules are ridiculous. I don't know what rule he's I guess something about the handoff.
Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. You don't know what rule he's talking about? Aren't you the track master? Didn't you
Wait a minute.
Didn't you?
Never said that. I didn't say I was the track master.
You said that you could have gone to the Olympics.
I said I wanted to go to the Olympics.
God, Rachel.
Did I say that?
See,
I was kidding.
This is the type of shit.
I was clearly kidding.
No, you weren't.
I was clearly kidding.
Because you have one of the biggest passes that you've gotten on this podcast is about your crazy, boisterous, athletic accomplishments and feats that you say that you could do. I don't hear say, I box every now and again. I got my ass kicked. I keep it real. Rachel comes on here saying she could beat Caitlin Clark one-on-one.
I didn't say I could beat her.
That you could contain her.
Thank you to 15 points.
That you
Please.
could hold her.
That's how I know you're making the mistake about the Olympics thing.
No, you said that you were on track to go to... Please find this. You said that you were on track to go to the Olympics.
And shin splints ruined my career.
And shin splints ruined your career.
I'm kidding.
So now you're up.
It was a joke.
I don't think it was. You had see. If I would have been on here like, y'all, man, I could have gone to the league. I've never said that, not once. I talk about stuff that I did in men's rec leagues, and you get on me. Now we need some track expertise. And you don't even have us for us. You're the track master.
First off,
track master Lindsay.
Let me find this Carl Lewis. All I know is Carl Lewis is upset. He says the rules need to change, and it has to do with the handoff, okay?
Right.
That is what I know.
So, Noah Lyles, let's get to Noah Lyles real quick. I want to say something real quick. There have been times in my life where I've been accused of not being a patriot. I've been accused of not loving America. And that's bullshit. I do love America. I love America an idea. I love the fabric of American society. I love when I see Americans step up for one another. I love the sacrifice that my ancestors made to be Americans, right? I love all of that stuff.
Okay.
If no one has earned it, no one has earned it if we haven't earned it, the title of Americans. And after this Olympics, I never want my patriotism at all questioned ever again because I rooted for Noah Lyles, the most annoying athlete in the history.
You think he's annoying?
Oh my God, man. Noah Lyles is annoying. I gotta say straight, congratulations to Noah Lyles. What Noah Lyles was able to do at these Olympic Games is fantastic. He backed up all of the talk. But God damn it, if that's not a hard motherfucker to root for. That is a hard fucking guy to root for, but I did it because I'm an American, and in 28, I'm a root for Noah Lyles again. But this motherfucker is something else. I swear to God, a couple of different stories. Obviously, he did some American basketball back in the day for no reason. Just for no reason. He won the 100, Noah Lyles. I call him right now King of Jamaica. Then a story comes out that he didn't want to go to an event that was held by Adidas for Anthony Edwards because Anthony hasn't been to the finals yet. What's going on? Noah. And now, Anthony Edwards, he had COVID. He ran with COVID anyway. Excuse me. Noah Lyles, he had COVID. He ran with COVID anyway. He said, I still wanted to run. They said it was still possible, so we just stayed away from everyone and tried to take it round by round. And to be honest, I knew if I wanted to come out here and win, I had to give everything I had from the get-go. I didn't have any time to save energy. There was some video of him partying after. I don't know if that video was prior to, maybe it was after the 100.
I don't think so. It came from TMZ.
Of him partying after he...
Now, why was he allowed to race if he had COVID?
I don't know.
That was my first thought. Like, I understood. He said he knew he had it for 2 days.
Yeah.
He had 102 fever. Why was he allowed to race?
And see, this is the problem with Noah Lyles, because I don't know how to feel about it. Either he's an asshole for racing with COVID and infecting everybody else, it could have affected everybody else, or he is a dog for coming in third and getting the bronze.
Well, it's both.
And getting the bronze race with, I don't know, Noah Lyles, he put you in two different that's why he's so annoying. Either he's an asshole for racing with COVID and really exposing the whole fucking arena to COVID, or he a straight fucking dog for getting the bronze with COVID.
Well, it's both, right? Because he had 102 fever allegedly when he ran that race, in addition to what other symptoms he was suffering. If it was serious enough to remove him from Olympic Village and put him in a separate hotel, then now why does he get to go into a stadium full of people, standing on a track? I never saw any footage of him masked up as he was moving around.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't have been allowed. If we're going to take it seriously, we're going to take it seriously. And look, maybe he didn't have it by the time he decided to party after the Olympics. I don't know. That doesn't bother me as much as it does that he got to run with COVID and potentially expose so many people.
Yeah. Do you have a problem with the way he be on men's basketball's head?
I think he's playing a character.
Oh, okay.
I really don't think he's, think about it. Would we be talking about Noah Lyles like this if he wasn't doing the most? Yes, we would talk about him winning the 100. Yes, we would talk about the fact that he had COVID and got bronze. But right now, he's a menace. And it's a little outrageous in the way that he's doing it, which makes me think that he's just, now at this point, he's just trolling everybody.
You fucking with it.
Trolling the men's basketball team.
Yeah, he's trolling the men's basketball team. I wonder if they all in on it. I wonder if I call some of the guys I know that are on the team, whether or not they fuck with Noah Lyles or not.
I think they think he's a pest.
I think they probably don't want to fuck with Noah Lyles. But, I mean, this is working for him. In 28, he's going to be even faster.
You think so?
Yeah. In 28, he's going to be even faster.
I enjoy the antics.
You do?
I do.
You know what I would want to see them do? I always wanted this. Do you think Noah Lyles is closer to the NBA players on the basketball court, or do you think the NBA players are closer to Noah Lyles on the track? Like if Noah Lyles played in some kind of way a 3-on-3, a 5-on-5 against the guys on Team USA, would he do better there, or would the fastest guy on Team USA come closer to running with Noah Lyles, closer to beating him?
That's almost impossible to answer. I swear I saw a tweet that said Noah got cut from his basketball team.
I'm saying.
Or maybe somebody said he must have been cut because of the way he acts towards the men's basketball team.
So that's why we got to settle this beef between Noah Lyles and Team USA. We have to take the fastest guy on Team USA, which is probably who? Who would be the fastest guy on Team USA? LeBron's pretty fast. Okay. So I would imagine Anthony Edwards is pretty fast. You talk about just raw athleticism, I bet Ant can fly.
Well, they asked all of them, what sport do they think they'd be good in?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony said swimming.
Yeah, that's not true, Anthony. But
nobody said track.
So if I was going to take the fastest guys, they're all pretty tall, but I would say LeBron's was definitely super fast.
Tall?
Huh?
You going with the tallest?
No, I'm not going with the tallest. I'm saying the height at some point is going to slow you down. LeBron at some point was one of the fastest guys in the NBA, but he's 39 now.
What about Booker?
Who? Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Devin Booker I could see being pretty fast up the court, but I'm going to go with Ant. So it's going to either be Ant, Booker, because we don't have like an Iverson.
No.
On this team. Ant, Booker, I can't think of nobody else.
What about Holiday? Because he's pretty quick. The way he moves on the court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be Holiday. It's going to either be Booker or Holiday, right?
Okay.
It's either Booker or Holiday, and we're going to run like a 150. Nah, because if you run the 150, then Noah Lyles going to dust him for sure because...
Well, when is Noah faster at the start, or does he pick up his speed as he goes?
Noah's start is pretty bad.
Okay, he's like a Shaqiri.
And then he walks you down kind of at the end, which is why the 200 was kind of like, maybe Noah will win the 200 if he's 100%. If you put Noah out there, could Noah get buckets against these guys? Doesn't seem like it, but then how bad is he going to fuck over them on the track? That's what y'all got to do. USA, pick someone to run against Noah Lyles. Pick someone to run against Noah Lyles. That's what they got to do. They got to settle the beef. Noah Lyles plays basketball, and then they pick their fastest guy, and they run track against Noah Lyles. And then we shut up after that.
All right.
The champ of the shit talking. Okay. Breaking. I said breaking. Melanie moves. All right. I said breaking. Breaking at the Olympics. I would like to shout out everyone that won gold at the Olympics. Actually, make sure that we properly tribute. I was just waiting for you to talk. Tribute the people who won gold. We give them their props, right? Because we don't want it all to be about Ray Gunn. But let's be honest. As fucked up as it is for all of the dancers and all of the breakers who break everywhere, cardboard boxes, 1977, spitting on their hands and all of that stuff and doing that. The white Australian dancer named Ray Gunn was the story of breaking at the Olympics. And it's not fair to all the rest of the dancers who breaking at the Olympics was their one big moment, because it's not coming back in 28, right? This might be the only time breaking is ever at the Olympics. We don't know.
Correct.
Right? But Ray Gunn got out there and hopped around like a kangaroo.
She did a lot.
Yo, to the dancers that I know, I'm fucking with y'all, man. I'm sorry that this moment was hijacked, but Ray Gunn was fucking losing her shit out there, man. Ray Gunn was trolling, man.
She was doing stretches.
Ray Gunn was trolling, man. Man.
No, okay, wait. Let me just say this about her. Because a lot of people are like, how did this happen? First off, every country is not going to be great at every Olympic sport. And I want to just say that. And this, I am not here to defend Rachel Gunn. I'm not here to defend her. But she did qualify to represent Australia. She's been breaking. She's been breaking since her 20s. She teaches dance and gender politics, and she represented Australia at the 2021 and 2022 World Championships. I know it was giving kind of the same energy of the guy who was signing that time, and nobody knew what he was saying. Like, how did this man qualify? But she actually has been breakdancing. She's just not good.
Well, hold on now. That's up for debate. There are some people that are saying that Ray Gunn went out there and trolled at the Olympics, but there's other video of Ray Gunn breaking, and it doesn't look like her performance at the Olympics did. She got zeros at the Olympics.
No, I didn't know that was her
score. So it doesn't, and let me tell you why. Okay, so Ray Gunn wrote a paper, and her paper is layered, and you guys should go out and read it. She's wrote a couple of different papers about various different things. I read a little bit of it. She's talking about representation and what it means to have breaking on it. She's a very accomplished lady, PhD in cultural movement. I think you said that. She's a teacher's cultural movement, whatever. But in this moment, to me, for breaking to have had, this much evolution for it to get to the Olympics, and for her to go up there and cut up like she did, it was disrespectful.
You think she was trolling?
I've seen video of her doing better than that. People have sent video around of her breaking, and it doesn't look. I wouldn't know how to judge it, but for somebody who doesn't know how to judge breaking, what she did at the Olympics doesn't look like any breaking that I've ever seen before. But in some of the other videos that they showed of her, some of that other stuff looked like she knew what she was doing at least. Even if she wasn't the craziest breaker like the rest of the people at the Olympics were, because there were some amazing performances at the Olympics. Well, that Jeff Road guy from America, fantastic. The gentleman from Canada, so many other people. But she didn't look like she belonged on that stage.
No, she didn't. That's why in the grand scheme of the whole breaking competition part of the Olympics, she was on stage not long at all. Not at all. It's just that's just what went viral, which is why, like you said, you have to give respect to the people who actually meddled in it. Now, listen, breaking is a form of, it's self-expression. So maybe she kangaroo hopped because she was representing where she was from. She also could have just laid an egg and been nervous at the fact that she was going head-to-head on such a big stage. But even the videos that I saw, when she had to, I didn't see her doing that amazing. Better than what we saw there, but we also saw clips.
You're not fucking with Ray Gunn, man.
I'm the one who gave her credit and said she was qualified to be there. So it's not that I'm not messing with her or fucking with her. It's just, do you think, you say she's trolling. A lot of the conversation around it as well had to do with people upset about the cultural appropriation. Like, for example, the girl from Lithuania was wearing the do-rag. And I think it's B-girl something Nika.
Nika, something like that, Nika.
There was no G.
It was Nika.
You said nigga.
It's nigga to me, man. Okay, Nika, whatever.
But people
B-girl,
were upset
Nika.
that she had a do-rag. Then I saw some people say, oh, she just needed to protect her head. Ray Gun was wearing a cap. And to be honest, she did struggle when she tried to balance on her head.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But people were saying, there was a lot of talk about the fact that breaking is losing its roots, that people aren't, a part of breaking is respecting the history of it and not just learning the moves on like a YouTube. Did you feel that there was any kind of cultural appropriation when it came to the Olympics?
Well, first of all, I don't have any right to say what's cultural appropriation of breaking or not, right? There are people who have devoted their life to dance. So that's for them to say. I don't have any right to say that. I don't feel any cultural ownership of breaking.
Okay.
And I think that's something that needs to be talked about. For everybody that's talking about how breaking is being appropriated by people in France, people overseas, people from Lithuania or Sweden or whatever, I'm asking those people, are you upholding breaking? Are you upholding the pillars of hip hop? Are you upholding this stuff? Did breaking get appropriated, or did we turn our back on the art form, right? Did we turn our back on it? Do we still invest into it? Do we invest into any of those roots of hip hop? Let me ask you this. Do we take care of the legends of all of these things that have created this stuff? Do we take care of the people that, and the pioneers of hip hop? Do we take care of the pioneers of breaking? Do we give them their just due? Do they have a place where their voices can be heard? Because it's one thing to get mad when you see somebody else doing it, right?
Sure.
But it's another thing to appreciate it as a part of your cultural expression. Back in the day, I had this bike and I used to never ride the bike. It was like a BMX bike, right? Like it was a old BMX, like one of the first bikes that I got that didn't have no training wheels on it. We talking 86, 87. You know what I mean? I got this bike. I got the training wheels off maybe when I was like a couple of years before that, but we talking about, whatever. You get the training wheels off, I'm riding my bike. It's like a little BMX bike. And I had rode that motherfucker so much to where the front part of the BMX joint, it was like down. You ever see it when it's down? It's not up anymore. The fucking shit has worn off and the thing is down and the handlebars are now here, right?
Okay.
So I wanted a new bike and I got to the point that I wouldn't ride my old bike no more. Wasn't riding that bitch. Just sitting there. I wouldn't ride it. I wanted a 5-speed, 10-speed. Everybody else had the new bikes. The BMX style was out. The 5-speed, 10-speeds was in. I wanted one, so I wouldn't ride my bike. Cousins came over. They wanted to go ride the bike. They take the bike, they go ride the bike. Now I'm salty. I'm like, whoa, what they doing? What they doing? And my daddy like, you won't ride the bike? The bike not good enough for you no more. The bike, you don't want to ride the bike. Let somebody else ride it. If you don't want it, it's not good enough for you no more. Let somebody else ride it. Why do you care now that somebody else is doing it? You're not appreciating it. The bike all broke up. It's whatever. You not riding it. You want something new. You want something new, that's cool. But if somebody else want to ride the bike, appreciate the bike, he gave the bike to them. And I had no bike. So all I'm saying is, if you don't appreciate what it is that you got, if you don't appreciate your culture and what it is, don't be upset if somebody else shows some cultural appreciation to it. Maybe now that we're having this conversation, we'll start to appreciate some of the legends and not just breaking, but in MCing, in graffiti, and all of the stuff that we're talking about that made hip hop what it is.
I think it should come back for 2028. I think the conversation around it has been interesting. Part of the reason that apparently this has been a while, like they've wanted to bring this sport about into the Olympics. And I think there were other forms of dance that they wanted to do first, but it ended up becoming breaking because they wanted to draw in a younger audience. They wanted social media to get involved. Even if it was for the wrong reasons, they definitely did. And I think even the people who won, they were very entertaining for a lot of people. I think they should bring it in 2028. And I think with the conversation that we're having, just like this one right now, and the ones that were going on social media, I think a lot of eyes will be on it. I don't think they should let it go. But that's LA. It's up to LA.
So I want to shout out Phil Wizard, B-Boy Danny Dan. Okay. Phil Wizard won gold, I think, and Danny Dan won silver. And Victor took home the bronze. All right. So I want to make sure that people know, and that's for the men. I want to make sure people know the people who ended up winning. Shout out to Reagan too. Reagan was a big winner from the Olympics in breaking. Now in 2028, there are going to be some new sports in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Flag football, cricket, lacrosse, and squash. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm thinking about getting in shape and trying to make it to flag football.
But he was talking about me in the Olympics. You're talking about me. Me saying that at least I left it in the past. At least I'm not trying to relive something that was never going to happen. Okay?
The question becomes, do you believe in me or not? Do you support me? Because
okay, two different things. Do I believe in you? No. Do I support you? Yes.
Before your next relationship, you need to work on this.
But I would love to see you try. Call Quincy.
Quincy.
Call Quincy.
Quincy, man, teach me how to quarterback, bro. I can do it, man. I can do it, man. I want to play something real quick. Actually, the J.D. Vance clip that I sent you, there's a lot of conversation about, specifics for Black people. Like whether or not Kamala Harris and the Democrats are capable of any specific things for Black people. I watched two separate J.D. Vance interviews.
Okay.
One with CNN. I think one was on Face the Nation.
Yes, it was Face the Nation.
And the most interesting thing about both interviews are one straight up lie that he told, right? About Kamala Harris and a bill that she had supported that he claimed supported super late term abortions and after birth, basically abortions. Okay. He claimed that she had supported this. They fact checked him in real time on the show, which I had never seen done before. Not like I'm talking to you, meaning Michelle had to come back in from the desk and say, hey, just to let you know, the bill that he says, and I'll look the bill up, the bill that he says Kamala Harris supported, she never supported. Not only did she vote against it moving forward as a senator, but she also said it was damaging to reproductive rights. It was called the Born Alive Survivors Protection Act. J.D. Vance accused Kamala Harris of supporting it. She had not supported it. She had voted against it in advancing twice and actually criticized it. But he straight up lied on the show and said that she was in favor of it. Anyway, there was a different interview in that same interview, where he talked about what Kamala Harris had done for Black farmers. Ashley, play the clip.
Harris administration, for example, handed out farm benefits to people based on skin color. I think that's disgraceful. I don't think we should say you get farm benefits if you're a Black farmer, you don't get farm benefits if you're a white farmer. All farmers, we want to thrive, and that's certainly the President Trump and J.D. Vance view of the situation.
Okay, so it's very interesting to talk about for two reasons to me.
Go ahead.
One is J.D. Vance's misunderstanding of why you would specifically need to do something for Black farmers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's very important that people understand that in some cases, Black is a conduit to American dysfunction and discrimination. Okay. It's not your Blackness that would make you deserving of a special initiative as a Black farmer. It's what's happened to you as a black farmer because you are black. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of restorative justice that I think a lot of people on the right have. They think, hey, you're born black, so you're entitled to something else.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're born in a situation that makes you entitled to restorative justice, right? Because of something that you've suffered. I always tell people to read Sandy Darity's book, From Here to Equality. There are a lot of other texts out there that'll talk specifically about the plight of black farmers. I come from a generation of sugarcane farmers in the Deep South. I know firsthand what it's like for people that have their land taken from them, usury, contract buying schemes. I know other ways that black farmers have been defrauded by the American government, haven't got subsidies in equal ways. There have been lawsuits over this, lawsuits that black farmers sometimes have won, right? About the ways that they have been underinvested into and undercapitalized in terms of farm subsidies by America. There is a strong movement right now to bring black farming back. Some of this farming is in rural areas. Some of this farming is in urban areas. I love the movements down there in Houston, Black Farmers Box, about black urban farming, because you're talking about a way to feed people in a community that live in that community by their hands tilling the soil. And we're also talking about changing health outcomes because we're talking about organic food, food that is free of some of the things that disintegrate our bodies. But I want to talk to two different groups. Number one, I want to talk to the group of people on the right who fundamentally misunderstand what we're trying to do. We're trying to solve a problem by addressing it in a specific way. If you're not for that, you're not for that. But it's not because of the color of their skin. It's because of the circumstance of their history, and then many times their present, number one. And number two, for the people on the other side of this that say Kamala Harris is afraid and Joe Biden are afraid, and the Democrats are afraid to do something specifically for black people, Van Lathan being one of those people who has made that criticism before, there you go. There's a situation right there where they saw something that was specifically ailing a valuable piece of Americana, which is the black farmer. And they said, we're going to attack this in a very specific way. I think that's politically brave. I think a lot of people out there should look at what J.D. Vance just said. What J.D. Vance just said is there's no world where the black community would need a specific initiative done just for them. That's important because at the same time, Donald Trump is going to come out and say, look what I did for black people. So if their campaign doesn't get their messaging right on that, then to me, I'm left to believe what I heard from Hillbilly Elegy Guy.
You're left to believe him over, what do you mean?
Well, what I'm trying to say is he just said that their campaign doesn't think that there should be anything done that specifically affects black people.
Well, this isn't the first time that they've disagreed on, like they have two different messages. I mean, Trump was questioned about his comments about what he said about having women having children and having more of a right to vote, people who have children, and calling the whole childless cat situation. Trump didn't agree with that. But you're right about their messaging. It's totally off. I mean, what you said is absolutely right. I don't really have anything to add to it. Other than something you said about Vance, about him. Did you say something about him needing to educate himself more on the policies? Did you say that?
What I'm saying is that the way I look at this, I read Hillbilly Elegy. I keep telling people that. And it's obvious that Donald Trump hasn't read Hillbilly Elegy. Because if you were to read the book is about the culture of a forgotten people.
Yeah.
Right. And so to me, at the foundation of the book, what I got from it when I read it, 2016, 2017, I can't remember either year. I actually read it because Harvey said it was so good. Yeah. And I actually wanted to understand the Trump phenomenon. To me, the central question that I came away from by reading the book is, from reading the book, should I say, is what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about generations and generations of forgotten people who honestly don't seem to have an Al Sharpton or a Minister Farrakhan or somebody out there like that speaks to their problems, right? Like a group of people who you never hear about, well, like what's really going on there. Maybe a little bit more now with the fentanyl crisis. But at that point, I never really thought about the L's of poor whites. Like I lived around them in Louisiana, but they were so wrapped up in their whiteness, right? They were so wrapped up in the idea that at least they weren't niggas. At least that's the way it came off to me, that sometimes it was hard to connect with what it was that they needed. And it seemed like Donald Trump represented a demagogue who acted like he was speaking for them. And then that's why they gravitated towards him. So when you read Hillbilly Elegy, the question is being asked, okay, what about these people? I think that's a fair question. I think it's a fair question to ask, what about people in McDowell County, West Virginia? What about people in Ohio? What about people in Kentucky? What about poor whites? Who speaks to their needs? And maybe in the Obama administration, inadvertently, we talked past those people a little bit. Maybe we didn't have enough conversations about them. Guys, I understand that what I'm saying is not super popular. I'm not saying what about white people? But what I'm saying is when we talk about poverty and how it affects people, poverty is corrosive no matter who's experiencing it. It might be more corrosive when it's combined with racism or sexism. But the group of people that he was describing there would be people that other people would say, oh, there's a big culture issue here. Like he was raised by his grandmother. His dad was here. His family was in and out of jail. They drugs. A group of people that I very, very, very much recognize. And the question of the book was, what are we going to do about this? Well, in order to do something about it, you'd have to be specific about it. You'd have to be specific about the problems that those people are facing. And you'd have to ask why they're facing them. Those problems would be partly economic, but they would also have to deal in a specific cultural abandonment. You'd have to say, what about the hillbilly people? Mm-hmm. They need this. And when you're talking about Black farmers or Black people living in underserved neighborhoods, you're talking about the specificity of those people because of a litany of circumstances. And to deny the existence of those circumstances, which is what they do, is to deny a very real history and present in America. So you're acting like it just doesn't exist.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say is that I understand you. What I thought you were saying is that he didn't understand the policies and how these policies for decades have benefited white farmers and excluded Black farmers. And so I thought it was a versus, does he not know?
Or does he not care?
Or does he not care?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I would say it's on the latter, because coupling with the fact that in this interview, he also made the mistake on saying Kamala Harris voted for a bill, not a mistake, I think outright lied about Kamala Harris supporting a bill. This just shows to me that J.D. Vance, I don't know if it's not that he's not well-researched, there's a political agenda that they're trying to push, and they'll just say whatever without doing any research, or maybe do have the research and the knowledge and are just going to outright lie to the people because it fits that. That goes with what he said with Kamala Harris and abortion, and it goes with what he's saying here about Black farmers or the lack thereof.
They're continuing to put pressure on her for not doing more interviews. So all you're hearing now, she won't do interviews. She won't do interviews. Every time she talks, it's off prompter. They're trying to call her out.
When she's on the campaign trail, is there a prompter there?
I would imagine there's a prompter there. Mm. Does that land with you?
No.
Do you want to hear more from her?
Well,
we talked about it a little bit.
We talked about it on the last podcast. I mean, I'm curious as to why she hasn't, but we talked about it. I think that the momentum's in their favor, other than like a few whispers of, hey, we haven't heard. And it's really coming from J.D. Vance himself. I mean, he did that thing where he walked right up to the reporters and said that. I think that they're fine. She's fine now. But I would say in a couple of weeks, people are going to start saying, okay, we need to hear from her. To be very honest, I didn't even notice that she hasn't talked to reporters because I'm seeing so much of her talk on the campaign trail. And I would think that a lot of people kind of feel that way. She's talking. She's addressing Donald Trump. She's addressing J.D. Vance. She's addressing issues that are affecting us in this country. So I'm like, do I need her to sit down and talk to a reporter? No, I'm more so looking forward to the debate that comes in September.
Did we talk about the fact that they said that they didn't reach out to Kai Cenat? Did we do that?
We didn't, you mean add that in?
Yeah.
We didn't say that part the last time. We didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, they say they didn't reach out to Kai Cenat. There it is.
I mean, Kai Cenat also said the Secret Service reached out. So maybe he got some email. Maybe it was just somebody else pretending. I don't know.
Do you think they pranked Kai Cenat? Like the Nigerians? The Nigerian 416?
Don't say it was Nigerian.
What?
I don't know, but it sounds like...
The first time I got one of those Nigerian emails, I swear to God, I thought it was real. Because that's the type of shit that I want to happen to me. You know, I want just one day somebody to be like, oh shit, you didn't realize you had 30 million? I believe that could happen for me. That's I have the audacity of hope in that situation. And so when they first sent it to me, I hit Jabril. I was like, say, bro, look at this. And Jabril was fucking hysterically laughing. He's like, Van, are you a moron? And I'm like, yeah, maybe they got Kai. All right, before we get out of here, just give you guys some data. New data shows that violent crime is dropping sharply in major U.S. cities. The COVID-era crime wave is receding. Okay, and it's dropping in 54 of 69 major cities. Now, this report shows, this is coming from the Major Cities Chief Association. This is analysis done by Axios. Crimes defined as homicide, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault in the first half of 2024 are down. Columbus, Ohio experienced the largest percentage decline in violent crime in the nation. 41%.
I didn't even know that they had... I know there's crime everywhere, but Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah, they getting it in Columbus. Don't talk shit about Columbus, man.
Columbus, Ohio is beautiful.
Right, but they also getting it.
Clearly.
It's getting it pow-pow in your motherfucking ass, all right? You get fucked over in Columbus. Nigga, Columbus, nigga!
Okay.
Fuck!
Let's move on to
We
Omaha,
on that
Nebraska.
shit over here. CO, nigga, Buckeye, nigga, Buckeye, nigga, Columbus, nigga. CO, boy. See Columbus, we getting it up. We getting it up, nigga, in Columbus. We getting it up.
Omaha, Nebraska was second with a 30% decrease.
Omaha, Nebraska. Shout out to Terrence Crawford. 30% decrease. Miami and Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has been a mascot for some of the crime that we've talked about. 29% declines in violent crime. Austin, 28. New Orleans, 26. These are some of the cities that have really, really, really been talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. Boston, 78% drop in homicides. Philly. So look, I want people to understand something here. When we're talking about the cities that are mascots for violent crime, DC was one. Philly definitely was one. Philly had nowhere to go but down. They was going crazy in Philly, right? Philly had nowhere to, but the amount that it went down, 42% drop in violent crime in 2024. Boston, that was 78% drop was homicides. Like, a lot of this is great news. You guys, understand the realities, right? We get it. We hear about crazy crimes. We see them on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. There are actual statistics that are taken to determine the levels of crime and safety in the United States. No one's telling you that there aren't people out there that are going to do harm. What we are saying is that a lot of the spikes in crime that came from the COVID era, a lot of these numbers are righting themselves. It's historic crime, low crime before then, and we're probably going to get back to those numbers.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do we know why there have been such, which is great, but why there's been such a dramatic decrease in violent crimes? but you just
things are righting
believe it.
themselves. I mean, look, we can talk about all the reasons why crime started to drop precipitously in this country following the mid-'90s. We can talk about all those reasons. You guys know what I think. I'm a kooky, crazy environmentalist that believes that taking some of the lead out of our environment led to us doing better, and that, you know, some of these things are environmental. There are some other things that have gone on. There's some investment that's happened, all that. But the spike in crime was clear. There was a desperation surrounding COVID and surrounding economic angst from that, and also just people not being at work, just all kinds of things that led to that, and those things are righting themselves. So many of the things that we're talking about, supply chain issues, even some of the corporate price gouging that's going on, that to me is at play for some of the inflation. Those companies have been emboldened by the capture that they had over people during COVID.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, to me, a lot of these things, they're righting themselves, but don't let people trick you and tell you that the whole fucking place is on fire, that everything is burning down, and that it's the big bad Democrats or the left that is doing it. Things are getting better from a crime rate, and things are better now than they were last year, and I would assume that they're going to be better in 2025.
Let's hope so.
We're in 2024. All right, President Biden sees on this news, blah, blah, blah. They're going to take credit for it. Axios also reviewed crime data along the U.S.-Mexico border and found that those cities have some of the nation's lowest violent crime rates. All the information is there for you guys. Please go out and seek it. I want to ask you something, Rachel, before we leave.
Okay.
So I see a lot of stuff on the internet about, FBA and what FBA wants and foundational Black Americans and all of these diaspora wars. I saw a guy who was going directly at the FBA, which is run by Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed came up with the term FBA. Would you be comfortable here on Higher Learning facilitating a debate?
You so want this.
I want it
you
so bad.
are so into the war.
I want to see it. I want to see a debate between Tariq Nasheed and this guy who keeps coming at him to debate what the foundational Black American platform looks like and whether or not it's divisive or helpful.
What is the guy? Well, the other guy's saying it's
The
divisive.
other guy is saying that
it's a problem.
the
He's saying it
FBAs
is.
are basically, they're basically MAGA light that is, got themselves into the Black intellectual sphere, and that they need to be rooted out. And I would love to facilitate a debate here on Higher Learning between these parties.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Rachel.
See how I do support you?
Right. We're going to get into some real shit here on Higher Learning. Guys, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Right. And we should bring Bill in here to see what Bill would say. Bill could host it today. He's the FBA guy.
Let's just stick to what we said before.
The question is, what in Boston, the Celtics, and Tatum?
Don't do that.
All right.
Let's go.
Take care, all, but do not stop learning. I am Dan Lathan Jr.
I'm Rachel Lynn Lindsay. Bye, guys.